Hi there, welcome to the Sunday edition of This Is Exclusive, in which we are going to continue to focus on what's happening in Kashmir as India prepares its kinetic response to inflict costs of terror on Pakistan and whosoever carried out the Pahalgam terror attack. Also, action in Chhattisgarh, Maoism on its last leg, with the forces zeroing in on one key battalion of the Naxals in Chhattisgarh. That's going to be our focus. Let's begin with the headlines. Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan meets Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. DGBSF holds meeting at the MHA.
मैं पीड़ित परिवारों को फिर भरोसा देता हूं, उन्हें न्याय मिलेगा, न्याय मिलकर रहेगा। इस हमले के दोषियों और साजिश रचने वालों को कठोरतम जवाब दिया जाएगा।
Prime Minister Modi reiterates a promise to give befitting reply to terrorists during his Mann Ki Baat address. The National Investigation Agency formally takes over investigation of the Pahalgam terror attack. FIR registered. And rattled Pakistan minister provokes after admitting to doing dirty work for West. Pakistan Defence Minister says jihad not native to his country. Import from the West. Global outrage against Pakistan, from London to Toronto to Kathmandu to Frankfurt to Melbourne. Outpouring of anger against Pakistan's sponsored terror. The Maoist cave hideout busted. Security forces conduct such operation in Karegutta in Telangana. Massive cave believed to be a Maoist hideout taken out. Welcome, friends. The National Investigation Agency has registered an FIR and intensified the investigation of the Pahalgam terror attack, piecing together all the evidence from the terror site and other places. Remember the attack that left 26 tourists dead? The NIA team has been working tirelessly now to collect evidence and identify the perpetrators ever since the Ministry of Home Affairs handed over the case to the agency. And as hectic parleys go on, and in the national capital, the Attari-Wagah border checkpost saw movement of passengers or Pakistani citizens towards that side, and the Indian citizens who were stuck on the Pakistani side towards our side. This was the third consecutive day in the wake of the transit freeze imposed by India in response to the attack. In fact, as anger mounts against Pakistan, Prime Minister Modi strongly assured the nation that justice would be served for all victims. He vowed that those responsible for the attack, including the terrorists and their masterminds and their backers, would be punished severely. Prime Minister, in fact, repeated his commitment to inflict costs on Pahalgam terror attack perpetrators and their backers in today's Mann Ki Baat address also. In fact, continuing with our focus on carpet coverage of all developments related with this terror attack, its investigation, hectic parleys, preparations, India's diplomatic and military response. We have 4 reporters joining us live, and we have Rakshita, she's joining us live from Srinagar. We have Zeenat, she's joining us live from Srinagar. We have Gursimran, he's joining us from the India-Pakistan international border of Suchetgarh in Jammu. And I want to begin with Erawat. He's at Lethpura, Pulwama. Remember the site where the 2019 Pulwama attack took place. But what is important is that the investigation being picked up by agencies including the NIA and of course supported by the Jammu and Kashmir police among others goes through all these areas where in fact over the last few days we have seen agencies blowing up terror hideouts, including those safe houses which were used by Pahalgam terrorists. Coming to you, Arawat, what's the latest you can tell us about the investigation on the ground in Pahalgam, in Pulwama, in Tral? Can we say we are closer now to getting those terrorists who carried out that heinous attack?
Absolutely, Abhishek. Right now we are here at Lethpora, Pulwama, and if we'll talk about the deadly terror attack in which we have seen that the 26 civilians lost their lives. Also, we have seen there are multiple anti-terror operations which are taking place in the Kashmir Valley, particularly if you talk about from the line of control area in the Uri sector. Then we have seen recently a huge cache of arms ammunition have been recovered after the deadly terror attack in the Pahalgam. We have seen the arms ammunition have been recovered in the Kupwara sector. Thereafter, the same kind of operations are also taking place in the downtown area in the Srinagar. Then we have also seen in the parts of the South Kashmir, particularly if you talk about the Kulga, where we have seen the operation is also going there. And if we'll talk about the overall situation, there are 33 locations in the Kashmir Valley where we have seen the anti-terror operations are taking place in the Kashmir Valley right now. We have also been told that the individuals in Pahalgam, there are 75 individuals who was detained or called for the questioning by the joint security forces related to the Pahalgam terror attack. Also, we have also been told from the reliable sources in every police station in the Kashmir Valley, the individuals who are affiliated with any terror group earlier or now who are released on the bail by the police, they have been called for the questioning at the various locations in the Kashmir Valley related to this terror incident that happened in the Pahalgam. Also, we can say that the security forces are continuously doing the investigation into the matter. Also, we have seen earlier in the day that the national investigation teams have collected the samples from various attack sites where this incident took place, and also the samples and other footprints through the drone surveillance have been accessed by the national investigation team. And also, we have seen that the search has been intensified not only in the Pahalgam but across the Jammu and Kashmir. Right now, we have seen the search operation is on, Abhishek. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Search operation on, and Rawat mentions that there are 33 locations where all this search operations are going on. Let me go to Zeenat on that note. Zeenat, can you share more about the pace of investigation, the direction of investigation? I mean, we know through the sketches who those terrorists were. We have zeroed down on some of those hideouts which have been blown up by agencies, and you have brought those reports. What next?
What next is a bigger question, Abhishek, here, because as of now, we see only these investigating agencies or the J&K police. They are just trying to connect the dots. We are seeing that the sketches were released after the details were shared by the victims who had seen them. But government or the agencies are just still cracking the cases and trying to connect the dots. They have almost picked up 270 people in this Pahalgam case. But as of now, they are only connecting the dots and checking that if those dots they are able to reach to Pahalgam's Baisaran. Baisaran is a very important location because it connects you from Pahalgam to ridge of Kishtwar. The bigger question is whether the terrorists are still roaming in the Pahalgam ridge, or they have connected themselves to Simthan at top, and then from Simthan going to Chenab, and then you are connecting Pir Panchal with the Rajouri Punch. That is a bigger question. That is why we see the searches in those fringes also. As far as the hinterland of the Kashmir Valley is concerned, be it the district of Anantnag where this crime was committed, or the national highway, the Katigund, or the Kulgam, Shopian, Pulwama, touching with Avantipora and coming to Srinagar and moving to Gandarbal, and from the right and the left you have Baramulla and the Bandipora, and then you are coming from Baramulla to Kupwara. actions were there. Houses were blown up, many were dismantled, giving a message to these terrorists, not only that you are the target, you are on the list, but also your family is on the list. Those who are carrying the crime on their head, their families will not be spared. This is a message of the central government also. If you remember, the central has a very clear policy on the no terrorism will not be tolerated, and those who are the part of the terror organizations, even the families will not seek the benefit. And thousands of cases were listed last time also about the CID verification, passport verification, job verification, even the health certificates were not issued, for which the people faced a lot of trouble. But this is in the history of Kashmir conflict. In the last 35 years, this is the first time when we see that for any crime of the terrorists, the families are being targeted, and that too openly their houses are being dismantled. On the one side, this is a human tragedy, but on the other side, we see the pressure that is mounting on the government of India, on the J&K administration, that they are hitting all these terror networks from right, left, and center. They don't want to allow them to leave the ground. They are hitting where it hits the most. That is why we see the operations. Srinagar state has not witnessed the operations like yesterday. Some 63 listed OGWs were touched, because a couple of days back we used to see that things have turned peaceful, and it was a tourism air for the stakeholders of the tourism industry. But now everything has flip-flopped here. We are seeing the 63 cases, and just in a day or so there will be the PC that will be slapped by the Srinagar police against those who are into serious terror business. What all this indicates, this only...
Complete what you're saying. Complete what you're saying.
See, this only indicates that the pressure has been building on the government. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, today said it very clearly that insaf milega. The people are not waiting that when the heads will roll as far as the departmental acts will fall on the officers or the administration. They are looking for the bigger action, for which we see the installations along the line of control.
For bigger action, obviously, it's back to basics, area domination, CASOs, and to make sure that there is no area which is left uncovered, untouched by military and police patrols. So something perhaps which was missed in the case of Baisaran. Stay with us. Now next I go to Rakshita. Rakshita, you were sending a report from around the Dal area a while back. Are you getting a sense that some semblance of normalcy is returning in the valley? Are you seeing some tourists back? Because that would be a marker of the kind of courage that we in India as a society and a nation have to show.
Absolutely, that has been witnessed. In fact, we went to Dal Lake, we went to Lal Chowk as well. The people from several areas that we are seeing, they have come from different parts of the country. We spoke to them, some of them spoke to us also. They were curious. In fact, they were asking that has the route to Pahalgam been cleared, because somewhere they also had planned it, and they want to see that, you know, if there is any chance, if the security is good enough to go, if the time and the place is appropriate to go, they are actually mulling over that. Many of them have changed their routes. Maybe they're going to Gulmarg, they're going to other areas, other stations, other tourist spots around Srinagar where they can complete their vacation. People have come from with their families, the young, the old, everybody. There was an abominable lull the next day after the attack. But for the past 2 days, we are seeing that the markets are open, be it at the Lal Chowk, be it at the Dal Lake, because that's a very, very famous market. There are, the restaurants are also open, and there are there is a population. It is populated. If not, you might not see the traffic jam, which I'm told that Srinagar has been witnessing for quite some time. There are not a lot of heavy jams, but yes, there is normal movement for the civilians, for the common man and the tourists itself. From the Dal Lake, yes, we spoke to many people. They enjoyed their Shikara ride. They were wanting to explore more. They said that they feel safe with the forces around, because there's heavy security deployment. Every 200 meters, you see that there is the armed forces. There are you see the CRPF personnel. You see Jammu and Kashmir police as well, especially on around these tourist spots as well. So yes, there is a message being sent out very well that those people who are planning to destabilize Kashmir, that is not going to happen, and India stands in solidarity.
Right. Gopi has also joined us live from New Delhi. She has been reporting on all the hectic parleys that were happening on the Raisina Hill as also in the defense establishment. But before that, I go to Gursimran first. He's at the border, Suchetgarh border between India and Pakistan. Gursimran, we saw earlier the pictures of that ceremony, beating the retreat happening without the paraphernalia which goes with that usual cultural event, etc. More somber, more serious, no handshake and closed doors, closed borders. But tell us, these reports that came in that India has opened the sluice gates on Jhelum and that there is flooding in Muzaffarabad. Are you getting a sense that India is already onto its mind games even before our kinetic response comes, which sure would?
Absolutely, Abhishek. See, India has already made the announcement they do not abide by the Indus Water Treaty anymore, which means that India need not to inform the Pakistan with the flow of water they are going to release, because the pact is kept in abeyance. So it's now that India can release the water at any given time and at any given point, because it is their control over all three rivers that have been allocated to the Pakistan as per 1960s Indus Water Treaty. But now that no more exists on ground, because the diplomatic decision has been taken after the Cabinet Committee on the Security headed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that India will keep this treaty, Indus Water Treaty, in abeyance. And this is going to hit Pakistan a lot, because Pakistan, what they was crying for the first 2 days, that there is going to be a drought-like condition in Pakistan, because 75 to 80% of their agriculture, they totally depend upon the Indus River. For the most, Indus is the main river that supplies water to their production bowl, that is Punjab area and the nearby areas. But what happened yesterday in the Muzaffarabad, where we saw that from the Uri Dam, when the gates were opened, many of the areas in the Muzaffarabad, they were into floods. So India is not now bound by any treaty that they need to inform the counterparts that they are releasing the waters. So it is as simple, but the Pakistan has started feeling the heat, and that's why we are witnessing some of the harsh statements coming from the Pakistan, which is warning that they will be using nuclears, or they will be using, there will be blood that will be flowing in the Indus River, that has come from their foreign minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. So this is the frustration of the Pakistan, but India is very clear on their stand that, see, it is not possible for India to overnight stop the water supply to the Pakistan, right, because it needs time to build the infrastructure. A canal infrastructure needs to be there before we put a complete stop on the water to Pakistan. Abhishek.
Absolutely. In fact, with all these outbursts, uncontrolled outbursts happening on the side of Pakistan, it gives us an idea of what's going on in their mind. So more they speak, the better we understand how to take this forward in a manner that Pakistan is off balance, which they already are. And we'll make sure, of course, that they pay the price. On that note, let me come back to New Delhi and Gopi. She's reporting from Raisina. Gopi, please tell us how long did the meeting between the Chief of Defence Staff and the Raksha Mantri went on? And I believe that the meeting happened after the CDS had long deliberations with the respective service chiefs. What can you share with us?
Well, as you've correctly mentioned that, there was a meeting wherein CDS Anil Chauhan did meet Raksha Mantri at his residence. This was at around 4, and the meeting went on till about 40 minutes, and he was there at his residence. But before that, he met the chief of all three major services, which includes Air Force, Navy and Army. So this was a meeting which happened previously during the day, while India has already given befitting reply in a diplomatic way on suspending Indus Water Treaty. What we are learning from our sources is it is the military response which is going to come next. While not just this, it was also the BSF DG Diljit Singh Chaudhary who was called by the Home Secretary Govind Mohan at the MHA. So indeed there was hectic parley of meetings in the national capital, wherein they are deliberating and discussing about what can be done next, while we have already seen that there have been simultaneous warnings and signals at Jaisalmer border as well. So we will have to see, we will have to wait and watch what pans next. But yes, meetings, hectic meetings, marathon of meetings were happening in Delhi today. Back to you.
Yes, and that really gives us an idea of the kind of prep that's going on before we launch that offensive to make sure that Pakistan pays the price this time. There is no escaping that. and it's building up. The momentum is building up. We are seeing those hectic parleys, not just in the South Bloc and North Bloc and the Sena Bhavan and the Ministry of Defense, but also at diplomatic level, the number of phone calls that Prime Minister has received by world leaders, all giving their consensus that India needs to make sure that terrorism does not go unpunished. We have seen External Affairs Minister having continuous, non-stop phone calls from around the world where India is carrying out its diplomatic offensive, telling the world the facts of the ground. But for now, moving on, connected with the same, there are developments taking place around the world, and now we are getting to hear that the Pakistan High Commission building in London has been vandalized. Windows of the Pakistan High Commission were broken. This is a breaking news development, and we as yet don't know who carried this out. But remember, we had yesterday a Pakistani army colonel, the defense attaché, Colonel Taimur, in London High Commission, and it's High Commission, and he was gesturing that throats would be slit, and he was doing that to protesting Indian community members, the protesting Indian diaspora outside the High Commission. And now we are seeing a day later that this vandalization of Pak High Commission has happened. All right, moving on from this and on to another important development coming in from another internal security situation that India is successfully mounting, which is the menace of left-wing extremism or Naxalism in states, particularly Chhattisgarh. This is a report from Chhattisgarh. We are getting that District Reserve Guards, DRGs, have recovered a number of improvised explosive devices and other Maoist-related dumps from the forest of Salebhat in Chhattisgarh. Top officials said that a number of pipe bombs, cooker bombs, tiffin bombs and other IED bombs were recovered from the forest area under the Kalari police station's limits in Mahasamand district. In fact, on Saturday, 2 security personnel sustained minor injuries in separate incidents involving IED blasts in Bijapur district of the state. These are pictures. Look at these, those IEDs, and these are explosions, controlled explosions being carried out by security forces after recovery of these warlike stores or ammunition used by Maoists and Naxalists. Police officials have in fact stated that both the Jawans who got injured yesterday are stable and out of danger and are receiving medical treatment even as operations continue. In fact, as we speak, the biggest anti-Naxal operation in recent memory is going on in Chhattisgarh, where we are told that there are as many as 300 Naxals who have been cornered in an area of Bijapur, and about 7,000 security personnel have surrounded them. There is no escape. Those Naxals are on a hill and they cannot come out of this. This is parallel to other developments taking place. For example, in Telangana, where a Maoist cave or hideout has been busted by the anti-Naxal Telangana police. These are pictures of the cave hideout. Security forces have been conducting a search operation in Karegutta in Telangana for the past 5 days, and during that search operation, this hideout was unearthed, was found out, and the security forces have taken over this area. The area domination exercise is going on, and while the Maoists escaped from the caves, but it is clear from whatever has been recovered from inside. Look at these pictures of those caves. It's daytime, but you go in, it's absolutely dark, almost like night, and the security forces capturing one very important hideout of Naxals, this time in Telangana's Karegutta. And the forces have trapped the Maoists on a hill, and analysts believe that the anti-nationals, the Naxals, are in a difficult situation with limited options. If they attempt to descend, they risk being caught or harmed. If they stay on the hill, they will likely face starvation and dehydration. Given the circumstances, the Maoists may be forced to choose between fighting or surrendering. In the neighboring Chhattisgarh, we have seen as many as 500 Naxals surrender in the last 1 month alone. And apart from that, we have security forces carrying out major sweep operations with a deadline of exterminating, eliminating, banishing, vanquishing all Naxalism over the next couple of months. With that, we come to an end of this bulletin. That's what we could pack in these 25 minutes for you. Short break. On the other side, Ivan Breaking is back.